Okay, hello. Uh, as I said, my name's Sam. I'm a student as well as a software engineer at Hack Club, where we build the best space to be a technical teenager. And today I want to tell you a story about curiosity, experimentation, and making things. Alrighty, so it began with a question I had. Images are made up of pixels. Music can be broken down into notes, right? So what's stopping us from turning a database into a piece of art? So that's what I'm going to explore today. Not the world's most pressing question, but something fun. So exploring it, I started by creating a quick Prisma schema. If you haven't seen it, Prisma is an ORM, which allows you to connect with databases in JavaScript. And it's a simple database. We'll be using it. It's a database of jokes. So that's what I've set up here, and that's what we'll be turning into art. Alrighty. So here's a joke. It's not exactly a good joke, but we'll work with it. When my son told me to stop impersonating a flamingo, I had to put my foot down. So thanks for the sympathy laughs, I guess. So how in the world are we going to turn this attempt at a joke into a piece of art? So I got thinking here. Art, you've got colors, hex codes, and hex codes are just hexadecimal representations of RGB values, right? So we could just as easily create hexadecimal representations of our jokes. So that's what we've got here. Here's our flamingo joke in hexadecimal. It's just as funny as it was before. So there we go. Now, we could break that hexadecimal value up into strings of 6 characters to make colors such as these. And so that's what I decided to do. And at this point, I got bored of thinking and wanted to write some code. So I took my idea and I put it into code to create something like this. This is a React function. Basically what it does is I've created a CSS grid with a bunch of squares, each with a different color from a different chunk of our hexadecimal value. And then the amount of columns is dynamic depending on the hexadecimal string length. And the result was this. Slightly disappointing, to be honest. The colors, except for this one lovely green square here, the colors are very boring. So I wasn't too happy with that. So let's change that. Here is my color popper function, the 2 RGB function down there. It's a little bit of witchcraft of mine to boost the colors. What it does is it multiplies the largest value out of red, green, and blue by 1.5. And then it multiplies the other 2 by 0.7 to decrease it. So that would then just make the color nicer, or pop more. And with that function, we'll replace it, so we'll use it in there in our CSS. And the result was this. Yay! It's a lot better looking if you ask me. Now you just have all these random squares of random colors. And we can make more jokes into this. So we've got more dad jokes here. How do you find Will Smith in the snow? You look for Fresh Prince. Why can't you play poker on the African savannah? There's too many cheetahs. And then what did the grape say when it was stepped on? Nothing, it just let out a little whine. So there are some random jokes, and that's them in colors. But colors can get boring, so to make it even more interesting, let's have music. So whenever I think about making music in code, I use something called Tonejs, which is a trusty JavaScript module that lets you make music within your projects. And then I got thinking, so I thought about music notes. And they've got a fairly basic structure here. A letter, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or then a number. So that sounds like something we could work with. And when we think back to our hexadecimal string also had letters and numbers. So here's some code I wrote up that basically it plays a note with the first letter in our hexadecimal string, and then the first number of our hexadecimal string, and then of the most recent joke added, and then it runs whenever a new joke is added using useEffect. So let's try that out. I'm going to pull up a demo of the project, and hopefully everyone can add in some jokes. Now let's see if I'm able to do this. All right, here we go. Okay. Oh no, it's centered over that way. Okay. All right, there you go. We'll work with that. Okay. So if anyone wants to scan that QR code, I've also got a little script that will start making some noise. You can add in any joke. They can be just as bad as mine, or potentially better. You never know. So I will also run my script, which should start making some, and then I'll press over here. Okay, so now it should start, so we can see some jokes are starting to be added. And you can hear all sorts of random noises. Okay, we're back. Now we've got some more jokes. And on this little demo website of mine, what you can actually do is you can click them and you can see the joke. So, Lorem's up on child Erica Hart 75, whatever that means. Well done to that person. So you can click on these jokes to see them. Oh, what's that one? I'm actually quite curious how someone's generated that. Wonderful work. Alrighty. Oh. So we can hear all sorts of music coming in. And actually, the code that runs this is all on GitHub. If you scan the QR code, there's a link on there to see it on GitHub. Whoa, nice one. Okay. Thank you to that person. So yeah, it's a little Next.js thing that's using, if you haven't seen it, SWR, to just pull the data off an API route and then quickly update it. And then it's all running serverless on Vercel. So it's a small little thing that I experimented with. And yeah, if people want to keep adding jokes, that's all I've kind of got to say. You want to pull this up? Thank you for listening. And if you're curious, you can explore this talk's source code on GitHub. It's fully open source, and you can drop it a star if you'd like, or follow my GitHub. Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool, thank you. So we have 5 minutes for questions. Anyone have any questions? So you want to shout it out? Yeah, go ahead, shout out.
Thank you.
Cool, that's not a question, but sure.
It's a statement, but thank you.
Anyone have a question?
Have you looked at like more filters for your colors?
I played around with a couple. I played around with the CSS filters on them. I couldn't get one that looked exactly nice, but it'd be interesting to do.
Right.
Especially if I could pull in a way to get like the filters to be affected by something else. So actually some of them I had the ID also changing it as well. So I could try that as well.
You could go for HSN codes, like different colors of themes, right? Why you choose RGB stuff, like there are 4 color patterns, right?
I don't know, RGB is just kind of being what I kind of always defaulted to. That's a nice idea though. But
most of the coders use HSN, I think so. The hue.
Yeah, I'm just boring and use RGB.
Any more questions? If not, thank you so much for Sam's.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
So 1 round of applause. Cool. So